Call to order, Bedford Township Board meeting December 2nd, 2025, 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow our heads for prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for you, and we're so thankful for this country that you so graciously allow us to live our lives in. God, I pray that you will be with the leaders of this country, for President Trump, for Vice President Vance. God, I pray that you will be with our Senate and House of Representatives. I pray that you will be with the Supreme Court and our state and local courts. God, I pray that you will be with our Governor Gretchen Whitmer. God, I pray that all of them are making decisions for the good of Americans, and they're making God-honoring decisions for all people. God, I thank you so much for our military and those who daily stand up to defend and protect our freedoms as Americans. God, I pray that you are with them, that you will keep them safe, that you will give them wisdom. God, we pray that you restrain evil in this world. There are many people looking to do evil, to harm other people. God, I pray that your gospel and peace will spread throughout the entire world. We love you so much. We thank you for all the gifts that you've given us. We also pray for the pastors in this country and elders and the church leaders. God, I pray that you will be with the church and that you will be with the churches in this country, and that we will stand strong and honor you. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming. Next, we have approval of the agenda. Need to get a motion if there's no changes.
Make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Support.
Need support. You can take the roll, Ms.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Ms. Schroeder votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Consent agenda. Agenda Committee recommends to approve and place on file minutes from the November 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Bedford Township Board. Need a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Seeing support. Let's take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Schroeder votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. We have no presentations this evening. Next, we have public comment. Comments limited to 4 minutes for board agenda items only. Please state which agenda item you will be speaking to.
Karen 7I. This board misunderstands what's being asked of it. You are not being asked to silence or ban Todd's speech. His First Amendment rights are absolutely acknowledged. Even hate speech is protected free speech. What is being asked of you is to express disapproval and censure him. The board has been resistant and slow to follow your own policy, to investigate, provide a report, present it, demand wrongful conduct stop, and hold a vote for formal censure. Instead, there has been 6 months of indifference and inaction, excuses of it's just Todd being Todd. There is a moral difference between following your policy and flippantly asking, would you like to resign, Todd, during board comment, and then moving on. The board's inaction is telling, giving your opposite reaction towards residents standing up to censure Todd. You've worked to stop and to silence us, including calling police on residents talking in your parking lot. Silence in the face of Todd's hate speech and bullying normalizes and legitimizes it, providing cover and implying your complicit acceptance of insults, his insults and threats. That enables what divides and harms us all. Todd's intimidation here and on social media creates responsibility for all of us to stand up and condemn it. I'm not on the bully's side. We teach school children to firmly, with calm strength, tell the bully to stop. We teach that when you witness bullying as a bystander, you need to stand up with others and speak up with and for those being abused. We teach it's okay to say, that our collective responsibility is to say stop. The school board did so twice. They picked the right side, so should this board. Offensive speech is protected free speech, but threats of violence are not. Speech with potential for harm, which threatens, invites, or incites lawless action, can't be tolerated. In his report, Mr. Pryor grossly misrepresents and minimizes the threat of violence Todd engaged and delighted in. Todd didn't extend us an invitation to a party. The type of gathering threatened was clear. Armed friends of his, militia by his own admission, on the roof of his gun shop. That party again context threatened being greeted by weapons, not balloons. Viewing Todd's Facebook, given concerns about his militia threats towards No King protesters on June 15th, it was alarming to find exactly the mentions of violence, inflammatory remarks, and forms of threat that Mr. Pryor in his report tonight claims did not exist. Todd's posts on June 8th and 9th. Want to stop the LA riots? Send Kyle Rittenhouse. Note, the June LA protests were largely peaceful. Vigilante Rittenhouse previously had shot and killed 2 unarmed protesters. Cartoon entitled, When Marines Get Sent to LA for Riot Duty. Commander, I said fire a warning shot. You shot him in the face. Armed Marine, that was a warning shot. Now all his buddies have been duly warned. There are many ongoing posts like these. They reveal then and now the menace of Todd's initial militia threats at the meeting on June 3rd. Bedford residents who are targets of Todd's prejudices and harassment are reasonably concerned. It is routine for him to demean, intimidate, and suggest violence against individuals and groups. He acts with reckless disregard that his speech is threatening violence. This board shouldn't disregard, minimize, or whitewash that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Allie Quinn. I'm the founder of Hope in Action in Adrian, and I'm here to make something absolutely clear. What is happening in Bedford Township isn't political disagreement. It is extremism. It is hate, and it ends now. When an elected commissioner uses his platform to attack Muslims, to mean transgender Americans, and yes, to use slurs to describe the political left, that is not free speech. That is hate speech. That is abuse of power, and that is a direct threat to the safety of this community. We are done pretending this is normal. We are done letting bigots hide behind the First Amendment, and we are done allowing extremists to weaponize public office to punch down at the very people they swore to serve. Because if this is how a commissioner speaks about us openly, imagine what he feels entitled to do behind the communities he targets behind closed doors. Let me speak directly, especially since he loves to wrap himself in his Marine status while attacking trans Americans. I come from a strong military family, including family members who killed Nazis during World War II. And let me tell you something that every real soldier knows. Real soldiers are not afraid of transgender Americans. Real soldiers don't ask what bathroom someone uses. Real soldiers protect the unit. Real soldiers respect anyone willing to fight and die for this country. When you use your veteran status to justify bigotry, you are not representing the military. You are disgracing it. You make our actual service members look weak, petty, and small, and they are none of those things. Our troops are stronger than the hate being spewed in their name. Bedford Township Board, it is time to choose. Do you stand with your whole community? Muslims, trans, queers, disabled, immigrants, conservatives, liberals? Or do you stand with a man who thinks bigotry is leadership? Because silence is not neutrality. Silence is complicity. And I want to be crystal clear about what is coming. We are not silent, we are not intimidated, and we are not backing down. We are shutting this down in Adrian, we are shutting this down in Bedford, and we'll shut it down anywhere this extremist rhetoric shows up. Hate has had a free pass in local government for far too long. Tonight, that pass is revoked. Thank you.
Jacqueline Arvanitis, speaking on 7I. I am here tonight in response to the ethics complaint filed against Todd Bruning and the so-called investigation conducted by Supervisor Pryor. This complaint documents 5 separate incidents in which Mr. Bruning violated your code of conduct, backed by timestamp video, screenshots, and direct quotes. After reading Mr. Pryor's report, it is clear that Mr. Pryor did not conduct an objective review of the facts. Instead, he approached each allegation as something to defend Mr. Bruning against. The report reads less like an investigation and more like a list of excuses. To be clear, this is your ethics policy. You told the community these were the standards you would follow. Yet the moment a trustee's behavior clearly violates your policy, suddenly the rules are too subjective to enforce, and Mr. Pryor claims he cannot even define the term role model. Children know what a role model is. Teachers know. Parents know. Apparently, the only person who can't figure it out is Mr. Pryor. So let me help him. A role model is a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. Is there a single person here who would want to imitate the behavior documented in this complaint? Of course not. And if not, then by definition, Mr. Bruning has failed to meet your own standard of conduct. Mr. Pryor claims that conduct outside this room is not subject to the policy, yet Trustee Stump stated accurately that, quote, if you are an elected official, you represent the township 24/7, 365. What we say and do in this meeting and outside of it is official township business. When reviewing Mr. Bruning's clearly racist Facebook posts, Mr. Pryor says he can't determine whether it's racist because that's too subjective. Depends on context, even though the full post with full content is right in the full complaint. Mr. Pryor also argues that Mr. Bruning's Facebook page is off limits, yet this board and their members regularly use Facebook to post township updates, board meeting summaries, and other community information. So are we supposed to just ignore those posts too? Next, let's address the threatening comments Mr. Bruning made about peaceful protesters in our community. Mr. Pryor's report argues that because Mr. Bruning did not threaten Bedford Indivisible by name, that it wasn't a violation. That is absurd. His comments were made directly after Mr. Pryor announced that Bedford Indivisible would be protesting, and his response was, send them down to my shop. I'll turn it into a party again. I'll have 4 different militia there. Mr. Bruning uses the word again because he is referencing a previous community incident in which armed men stood on the roof of his gun shop to intimidate protesters. Mr. Pryor also argues in his report that no weapons were mentioned when he knows full well that Mr. Bruning said my shop, he meant his gun shop. Mr. Pryor, you must either think this community is stupid or you want us to pretend that you are. Do you honestly expect anyone here to believe that Mr. Bruning might have been planning a friendly gathering at his gun shop, inviting militia to celebrate with protesters that he disagrees with? This was a threat, plain and simple, and you know it because I and others stood right here and explained it to you over and over again while Mr. Bruning doubled down on his remarks. The hypocrisy in this investigation is unbelievable. You demand context when trying to excuse Mr. Bruning's racist Facebook posts, yet you strip away every bit of context surrounding his threatening comments when it exposes his misconduct. This board's policy lays out several actions you can take to hold Mr. Bruning accountable. Yet Mr. Pryor's report recommends that instead, Mr. Bruning should just agree to censure himself, even though he's made it clear he has no intention of ever doing so. I urge the members of this board to look at these allegations honestly and objectively. The only appropriate response is to vote to publicly censure Mr. Bruning for his behavior. Anything less condones it, and it demonstrates that your code of ethical conduct isn't worth the paper it's printed on.
Justin McCullough, Temperance. So part of the board's investigation centered around Todd's social media activity. We're all very aware of the First Amendment. What you say can and should be held against you. The 5th issue of the complaint focused on Todd's racist Facebook posts. The investigation determined that although the posts are controversial, it's subjective as to whether or not the post is racist. Well, I could have picked any number of posts. One in particular stood out. I'm going to show you.
He's got to
Everybody see? Everybody see that?
You're disgusting.
Adolf Hitler was the leader of Nazi Germany. The entire central idea of Nazi Germany was the extermination of the Jewish race. The simple fact is, advocating for the extermination of an entire race of people is racist. It cannot be any more simple than that. It is not subjective. That's the definition. Are you comfortable with Todd Bruning continuing to be a stain on the character of Bedford Township? Is this really the way you want Bedford Township to be represented? Because, as is stated in the investigation and has been openly discussed here in many meetings, Todd's posts are public, front-facing. They are not private. Anyone can see them from any community. Do you think people who are Jewish or Muslim or any other disparaged community that Todd has posted about want to move here? Want to invest in businesses here? Want to bring their kids here? Quite frankly, I don't think they would. As of now, due to the fact that you have continued to not censure and hold one of your own accountable, you are openly endorsing anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim rhetoric, and openly racist behavior. Do better. That's all we're asking. Thank you.
Lamar Frederick, Lambertville. My topic is 3A, again, the minutes. At the last board meeting, during members' time, who I had brought up earlier the Monroe County Business Alliance contract and how it had been handled. Well, during members' time, mea culpas flew all over the place. Mea culpa, I'm sorry, I'll fix it. Well, I was trying to construct what I felt was important about what happened. Because it wasn't just something that flew off the table, it's something we discovered. And I found, reading Phil's memo, because I know you wrote it, a paragraph that I'm going to read to you, because I think it outlines what my concern is. The Township Board recognizes that to carry out its mission of service to the community, the Township Board, employees, and volunteers must earn the confidence of the Bedford Township community. The residents and taxpayers expect and are entitled to a local government that conducts its affairs in a fair, ethical, transparent, and accountable manner. To accomplish these ends, the Township Board expects compliance with the following code of ethical conduct. In conducting their official duties, township officials and employees shall observe the spirit and intent of all applicable laws, township ordinances, and township policies and procedures. It goes on to add additional issues. My point is that we pointed out last meeting a violation of a policy 2.10, which says that all contracts shall be approved by the board. If someone on the board decides that they don't have to do that, and they're off on a lark by themselves, they may well pick up personal liability for what they've done. Now, Phil can give you a primer on what happens then, but bad things can happen. I don't give a damn about your personal liability if you do that. What I care about is the township and whether or not the insurance policy will cover you. Now, they have a duty to defend, but they may just come along and say, we reserve our rights. We're not going to pay if you have a judgment. Now, Phil can explain all of that to you, but it is important. And I expect this board in the future to comply with its policies, either that or throw the damn things out and do whatever you want. But we expect you to follow those policies to the letter. If Trudy makes a mistake in the elections, stuff falls on her head like God just doesn't like you anymore. But it does. That's not the way it should operate. You should. Thank you.
Gail Kane, Temperance. Well, well, well. What a wicked web we have woven. I'm going to speak to 7I, and because that gate's been opened, I'm going to hit it on several different aspects. Let's make it a report card, and you get the big F. Sorry, I've endorsed so many of you for so long. I went through by numbers, and, I thought, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to hit a couple. The 3.6, again, as Mr. Lamar has pointed out, major failure because Mr. Pryor made the decision to pull it from the agenda and removed my voice, which is the trustees. Is there a conflict? I do believe there is. There is a friendship between him and T.C. Clements. And while he's enjoying coffee club for my $500 that he paid for this without your approval, I call that a big problem. And I guess the only way things happen here is to now go forward and start filing complaints. Because a complaint against him, you guys are supposed to pick up on and follow through and censor him. He's not allowed to do this. He cannot keep manipulating things behind closed doors. Doesn't mean he has to be a liaison to any board, but any board he's involved in, he's manipulating. Doesn't have to be monetarily, but again, 3.9, we had ARPA violations and manipulations of the CIP funds. It's just, this is wrong. It just keeps happening over and over. You get 3.10, a line cross when you advocate for events that aren't sponsored by the township. You have an F for 3.16, an F for 3.18, 3.20, 3.21. The other conflict is that we have voiced that there's a concern with how prayer is done here. You benefit, you advertise a church. That's wrong. I have no problem with prayer. It's a wonderful thing when it's done for the well-being of all faiths. And that's not what happens here. You're advertising a church, and it gives that church benefit. So you need to do what the county does. And apparently the only way my voice is heard is that, again, I'm going to have to file a complaint and have it investigated. I shouldn't have to do that as a resident, as a taxpayer, as having been here for 50 plus years. You put Charlie Kirk on a pedestal that's higher than God himself, and yet we have to sit here and listen to the advertising done because this person comes from another church, and it may not be my faith. And we don't represent all faiths here, and that's wrong. On the same note, It's not fair that you guys sit here and get picked on. You were elected. You have a voice. You're individuals. I'm an individual. We all have a voice. The problem is that we've learned that speech is no longer a freedom. It's just not assumed. Because I can't sit here and say what I really have on my mind. And that's not what I should be allowed to do. We've got to work together. I don't necessarily approve of this group. I'm not going to be nasty with them. I'm going to listen. They have a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to be what they want to be. I did some research. I found out, do you know who our Michigan militia is? They were there for our American Revolutionary War, the Patriot War, the Civil War. The militia is our National Guard. Thank you.
Are there any others? Seeing none, we'll be moving on. Certainly, go right ahead.
My name is Greg Skyver, and I live here in Temperance on Meadowbrook. I haven't been to one of these meetings for quite a while.
Just address us, Greg.
Pardon?
Just look at us.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Okay. Anyway, I haven't been to one of these meetings for quite a while. First off, I am a Christian, okay, and I have no problem with telling people that. Okay, how we pray is up to us and the good Lord and how we're led. That's number one. Number two, coming to these meetings and seeing the bantering that goes on and the abuse that the people that represent this board have to deal with on a regular basis is rather disturbing. We elected them. We've put them in place to work with us and to help us in the community and guide us. Okay? On top of that, I have been to talk to many of them or with them about a concern that I might have. Okay? Whether it be in the township, the roads, or something along that line, flooding, things that are of concern to the whole community, not to just personalities, one after the other, bantering and finding fault with other people. There should be better things to do than to constantly find fault with someone else and overlook the good that this group does. There are things and there are people in this group that I may not agree with totally, but I'm not going to banner them or slam them or whatever the terminology might be. I think it is rather discouraging to see adults conduct themselves like that, bring signs in here with slang on them. We have children that are going to grow up in this community, okay? And we should be examples to them. And some of it is rather poor. And I think that you ought to look at yourselves and go, am I that person? How do I conduct myself? Do I have a right to pick on any one of you? Or to judge you? Or give my opinion in a negative way? It is very sad to see, and I can wonder and understand now why other people might not come. I'm sorry. No, I'm not really sorry. I'm glad that I was able to say something like this, and that we have a community that is this good, and we live in a country where we can pray and where we can have freedom of speech. And I look forward to you people doing your job, trying to do the best that you can for all of us, whether it be yourself or the people in the community. And I thank you for this time. In the Lord's name, amen.
Any further comments? Seeing none, we'll be moving on. New business, vouchers for payment.
I'd like to make a motion that the following vouchers be approved for payment. General Fund, $50,180.46. Fire Fund, $26,599.35. Police Fund, $113,011.63. Fire Equipment, $4,726.61. Downtown Development Authority, $8,871.62. Library Fund, $7,704.96. Capital Asset Revolving Fund, $2,452. Building Department, $5,840.77. Sewer O&M, $3,148.86. Trust and Agency, $4,560, for a grand total of $227,096.26.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Hertzberger votes aye. Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Next, we have 7B, request to split property in a platted subdivision. Are the owners here? You want to take this, Craig?
This didn't come to planning,
No,
but
this is assessing.
I mean, I can take it, I guess.
Okay.
It's pretty
Or
self-explanatory.
you want, or
You
you
can
want
take it.
Oh, go ahead.
And Joe's aware of this. This matter came in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals and was, I don't know, we spent a long time was spent on this matter by the BZA. This is a lot or lots within the township that have been in this particular configuration for years and years and years. I think it predates the 50s. What we have is a prior legal nonconforming use and a prior legal nonconforming structures. So the goal and objective was to bring these lots into conformance as reasonably possible without tearing down structures that are usable and have been used for homes and residences for many years. So would we allow this if we were starting fresh? No, we wouldn't, because it doesn't conform with the current zoning ordinance. But the zoning ordinance gives the Board of Zoning Appeals the discretion as a quasi-judicial body to grant variances, and the board did grant several variances. But because this is within a platted subdivisions, one of the oldest platted subdivisions in Bedford Township, it had to come before this board for approval of what the Board of Zoning Appeals did. So that's just a high-level overview of what we're doing here. You have the information in your agenda. It shows the surveys that were done. Your zoning coordinator, Jody, and I have looked at this and re-looked at this. We re-examined it after the survey work was done. It's in conformance with what has been approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals. So it's really meant to take a situation that is way out of conformance because it enjoys prior legal non-conforming status and bring it in and legitimize it because all these structures were on one lot. Now they're separated. They have their own legal descriptions. They have their own lots. They have their own approved setbacks. So that's just a high-level overview. If you have any questions, Joe or I, Joe's our guy on the BZA, we could answer them for you.
This is all just straightforward. We're cleaning up a lot of prior legal nonconformings and nonconformings that were done well before the zoning ordinances were put into place. And I think this was one of them, if I remember correctly. Phil, we spent a lot of time figuring this one out, and just it's going to make things a lot easier because one thing on the BZA, we deal with a lot of non-conforming and lots that were put out there back in the day.
These homes have been in existence, some going back into the 50s, maybe before, but the key is they were existing before the zoning ordinance was adopted by Bedford Township in 1977. Anything that existed before that by state law, the zoning enabling ordinance, allows their continued existence. Now, if they wanted to expand or do something different, the BZA has authority to approve that. But what this really did was take these structures that were on one lot, create individual lots for the individual structures, and approve setbacks. So the whole neighborhood was taken into consideration, setbacks, adjoining buildings and uses. And this is what the BZA ultimately approved. And a lot of time was spent on it to try to bring it into compliance.
I think we said more than once, what were they thinking back then? And maybe 70 years from now, they'll say, what were they thinking back then?
Times change,
So,
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So
zoning principles change, ideas on zoning change, but this allows these structures to legally remain on their own legally described lots. But again, since it's in a platted subdivision, it requires, by our ordinance and by the Land Division Act, it requires your approval.
there's no discussion or anything. I can make a motion. Do you have any? I'm good. So I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the rezoning request to split properties in a platted subdivision 02-500-002-00 and 02-500-018-00. It'll be split into four parcels and as presented.
Support.
Any further discussion? Dean.
Is that enough in that motion?
With his last magic words, as presented.
There we go.
I remember that,
Make
Phil.
sure.
There we go. Okay. Seeing no further discussion, please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. 7C, Mr. Miller, postage machine replacement.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Our current postage machine lease expires on January 6th. That machine we've had for the last 5 years, and it has not had any service calls on that machine. So we did receive, on the second page, did receive 3 quotes. One from Pitney Bowes again for a Senpro C Auto 95, which is what we have now. Quadient and Konica, both of them are offering a Quadient machine. We have 2 options. We can purchase it outright, which is on the top half of the spreadsheet. The bottom half is another lease. The top half purchase, the purchase of the machine outright would be $5,855 from Pitney Bowes, and then $5,937 from Quadient, and $7,132 from Konica. My recommendation at this time is not to do a service agreement because the history of this machine, the Senpro C, is very good. So my recommendation is that we continue our relationship with our current provider, Pitney Bowes, purchase the machine without a service agreement. Any questions?
Go ahead, Craig.
I was just curious. Why do you recommend the purchase as opposed to the lease?
One, it's less expensive.
Okay.
You don't have to finance it. So leasing, all you're doing is financing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have budgeted in our CIP plan for the purchase of equipment.
What do we think the life will be on the machine?
These generally last about 60 months.
Is that how long this one lasted?
Well, this current one's a lease, right?
It's currently a lease. So
It's
we get
leased with no service. That's why I was just curious if we're purchasing it. I assume that it's going to be a little less expensive to purchase than the lease, but then I was kind of like, what do you do? What is our life going to be on that projected, and what do you do with it when it's done?
The expected residual value for 60 months will be $0.
That's what I would assume.
We can hang on to the machine as long as we want,
Yeah.
and then purchase or lease at that time.
Is the 60-month projection, is that just, it just dies, or is it a technology deal, or is just?
Industry standard.
Okay. Okay.
Joe, you had a question?
Yeah, a couple. Again, if we're going to be looking at getting a new machine every few years, I mean, why not just continue to lease? Because if we lease, does that come with a service agreement? I understand why you don't want a service agreement to save some money, but I'm very nervous because as soon as we don't buy the service agreement, something's going to go wrong with that machine.
Here's what you can do. Do you have the spreadsheet there?
Yeah.
Look about 2/3 of the way down. It says total 60-month purchase cost. That includes the 5-year service agreement. I'll wait till you get to the right. It should be on page 2.
Second page. Oh, got it.
With the service agreement, that's $7,189.
Mhm.
If you were to lease it with the same service agreement, that's $8,500. So you still get your 60-month service agreement if you choose to purchase it for 5 years. Leasing is just financing. You're paying someone else to finance it.
But we have the cash to
Yep.
just buy one.
It's all budgeted for.
Are you expensing this all at once? Or?
Yes. If you purchase.
Right.
At least it'll be expensed over 60 months.
And if we're nervous about the service, we can get the service agreement on it, but as long as we've had this machine, I've never called for service.
You better knock on wood now.
I mean, you'd have to have a repair that's half the cost of the equipment for it to not make sense, in how I see it.
I also did at the very bottom line, if we did not have the service agreement, the average service call is, let's call it right around $400
Okay.
per service call.
Yeah. So you'd have to have a lot of service calls for that to not make sense. I'm good.
Any other discussion?
No.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion. We'll purchase the Sen Pro C Auto 95 from Pitney Bowes in an amount $5,855.54 to come out of Fund 447, account number 447-000-970.0027, Capital Asset Revolving Fund.
Support.
I'll just add in, we'll decline the service agreement.
Accepted.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Ms. Hirschberger, please take the roll.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Next up is D, approve parts for parks repair. Josh, feel free to join.
Okay, so the parks repair here is for every swing in Bedford Township. So this covers all the pocket parks that have swings, the main parks, everything we have under this. So what led us to this was I had received several calls and had found out about a broken tire swing and calls from people volunteering in the parks, cleaning up, saying, hey, these swings are not looking great. You know, the one pocket park in Centennial especially, I think it was the Bedford Robotics team, was cleaning up there, and they were very unhappy and said, hey, we don't know if this is safe. Can we look into all the swings? So then we had another one break, and so we talked to the maintenance department, and Pat and Adam had went out, and they visited all of our parks. They took an intensive survey. They talked to Raleigh Madison from We Build Fun and came up with this list based off of the wear of the actual safety swings and the wear in the chains up at the top where they swing. A lot of them are over halfway worn through. So, if the seat looks all right, sometimes it's the chain up top. So you have a lot of things that go into it together. So this is an exhaustive list that will replace every swing in Bedford Township. And, we're recommended to not replace them piecemeal because after a year or so, they all start to kind of look the same, get a little faded, and it's very hard to track what you've replaced and what you've not replaced. And I think the last time we did anything major regarding this was at least 8 years ago. So these are not 2-year-old swings or anything like that. A lot of these are older and they're starting to fail. So, yeah.
Any questions? Josh, is your board in full support of these swings, and did you ultimately, your board, make the decision to purchase these?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, if I can get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of updated parts for the township park swings in the amount of $12,074.00 from We Build Fund.
Include the account number.
Oh, yep. And this will be coming out of Maintenance Parks Equipment Account 101-265-933.0020.
Support.
Further discussion?
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
7E, Chief. Approve the promotion of firefighter.
Good evening. So the fire department is obviously a 24-hour operation. During that time frame, we have one person that oversees the entire operation. They take care of everything daily, training, schedules, what crews are doing. They're kind of the heartbeat of the organization for that 24 hours. In September of 24, we had Lieutenant Prucci that left the organization. At the time, we put in firefighter Miller as a interim lieutenant. We were kind of holding off on a promotional process at that time. We were waiting for some contractual things to go into place. However, that since has not happened. So it's been now a year that firefighter Miller has been in that position. Been doing a great job. So really has went through a very good and a very big interview process. So right now we're looking at promoting firefighter Miller to lieutenant. She did come with us. She did start off as a part-time with us as a paramedic. She did her fire officer, our fire instructor, and she since then has took over our EMT training. So she's been an asset with the organization.
Do you have any questions? Okay. Good. If I can get a motion, if everybody's good, or Joe?
I'll make a motion that we approve the promotion of firefighter Courtney, is it Miller or Meyer?
Yes.
Miller to the rank of lieutenant.
Support.
We have support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberg.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janusik?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Next, Chase, you're already up there. Approve Excel Fire Systems quote for Township Hall, Bedford Library, and Fire Station 3. We're going to need 3 motions on this.
So in this, there are 3 things. We'll start off at the Township Hall here. Basically, they're doing the 5-year required inspection of the wet internal and the 5-year of the water department, fire department water connection test. Basically making sure they can hook up to everything. These are things that every 3 and 5 years you have to keep doing. And then at the library, this is a desired optional upgrade that will get us to the point where we can make sure we're doing a test correctly. So they want to install a this 1 2-inch hose valve connection on the discharge side so we can do a forward flow testing to make sure that at the end of all the sprinkler systems we're getting enough water flow. They can kind of estimate it right now, but they don't know if it's going to work out perfectly because they don't have this hose discharge, the hose valve connection on there. So basically what that means is they're doing a test that's similar, but it's not the correct test. And they would like for you guys, for us, to install this so that they can more properly do this test. But that is not a requirement. That is a desired upgrade from them. At Fire Station 3, there is a 5-year inspection of the internal dry fire sprinklers, 5-year fire department water connection test, replacement of water gauges and air gauges. So any water or air gauge on the sprinkler systems, whether wet or dry, has to be replaced every 5 years, even if they still work. You just keep brand new ones going in. Conduct a 3-year air leak test to make sure there's no rust holes or anything in the dry system. Install some other stuff. The sprinkler head legend, the riser room sign, bring in an additional sprinkler head so we're in compliance to have an additional head present for each type of head. And then troubleshooting the tamper switch on the 4-inch butterfly valve that is not reporting to the monitoring panel, and bringing in a licensed electrical contractor to assist in the wiring. So the parts of this are bringing in a licensed electrical contractor, and for the desired optional part, the 2-inch hose valve connection, bringing in a licensed plumber are something that, is required by Michigan law here for this. So our fire inspector, Doug Steinman, who is the authority having jurisdiction, requires this for not just us, but everybody in the township, commercial buildings who have these. This is a fairly common thing, the NFPA code. And then we had talked to them about pricing on this and said, hey, this is a little steep. It's all coming in at once, which they just happen to stack up. So they have bundled it together and offered us a discount on that to bring them all in together. We've talked to some other companies to see about possibly getting different companies to do inspections in the years following to see, what kind of pricing and whatnot. If we were to bring in another company, we'd probably have to pay the full inspection fee all over again for them to go through everything. Other companies, but there are in Ohio other companies who do this. They don't have Michigan plumbers on staff or contracted, and they don't have Michigan electricians available.
So if we're going to look at bidding this out, it would be better next year because they had already done the inspections. How long have they been doing this contract?
They've been with us since 2003.
2003. So by Chase calling some of the other companies, getting some ideas, Excel did come in. They had a meeting with us, and they were like, we'll lower the price for you. We'd like to keep you as a client. So we didn't think it would be good if we had to go out and pay more inspection fees that just defeat the purpose of the discount. So
regarding the library one, that's desired, not optional. If we don't do that, could that get us in trouble if something were to happen with insurance? Would they cover it, not cover it? Because
Josh, that was a good question because we had that talk, and it's one doesn't have the other because, okay, if something happens and then somebody comes in and says, well, why didn't you do this test when you had the opportunity to do it and you didn't do it? So, I don't know, where's Chief? Did he leave? Chief, could you address that a little bit?
So that 2.5 discharge is going to be actually to measure that full flow through the system. When they do it right now without that, they're only able to measure certain areas of it, and it's only going to be a certain, as much as they can do. So you're not going to actually know the full potential of your system without having that actual end of system flow rate.
So is it your recommendation, Chief, that we go with that upgrade?
I would say so, yes. Because that way if for some reason something were to get clogged in that system, or over the years something does happen to it, that's going to be a test that's going to determine that.
Does that also exercise the backflow preventer?
That I don't know.
Okay. So in some cases, it can exercise the backflow preventer, and you get the water moving through it, and you can make sure that everything's working properly, so you won't have a valve, it's sticking.
So theoretically, you could hook up to that and reverse it, and it should be able to test that, but I couldn't tell you for sure that it would do it in this case.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Any other discussion, questions? If there isn't any, if I can get 3 motions.
I'll go ahead and do the first one. I go ahead and make a motion that we approve Excel Fire Systems for the following inspection, upgrades, and repairs to, we'll start with Township Hall, in the amount of $1,965, and this will come from account maintenance service repairs number 101-265-930.0000.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Trigger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye. Motion carries. Next motion.
Just keep going, Joe.
I'll keep going. So I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve Excel Fire Systems inspections, upgrades, and repairs to the Bedford Library in the amount of $1,490, and that will come out of the maintenance, service, and labor account number 271-000-930-0000.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Trigger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. We need one more.
And the last one, same, make a motion that we go with Excel Fire Systems for the inspections, upgrades, and repairs to Bedford Fire Station number 3 in the amount of $4,450, and that will come out of the Maintenance Stations Fund number 206-000-930.000.
Support.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Okay. Next up, precision irrigation. How's it going, sir?
Good evening. Jay with Precision Irrigation and Lawns. I'm here to answer any questions. We were presented an option to do some extra road mowing to kind of settle a few of the complaints that are showing up during the summertime. Seems to be with all the growth that seems like we're having nowadays and the weather changes, whatever that may be. We're trying to combat different options and presenting different things to you guys to decide how to try to combat those things. So the option that was in front of you tonight is basically, I don't know if you know how that works right now, is you guys pay for the local road mowing and the county pays for the primary mowing. They've had it in their, I've been doing this, I think, year 18, somewhere in there, that they basically, we mow in the spring on the primaries, just basically from the bottom of the ditch to the front. And then in the fall, we do the full ditch to wherever we can reach back, either to property lines or 21 feet, what our mowers reach out to. During that summertime, your local roads, you're getting basically 3 mows. You're getting a full mow in the spring, and then just that front mow in the summer, and then a full mow in the fall. So doing this option that we're throwing at you is doing that extra mow in the middle of the summer. I think we stated mid-July or somewhere in there, to mow the primary roads on the front of it to kind of add and even out your mowing so your whole township's getting mowed uniformly, I guess is the kind of best way to do it, to limit some of these site distances, issues that are coming up, where the complaints are showing up. And it basically is going to match everything out evenly to do that. Now the county, that's their budget. That's the way they have set those primaries for as long as I've been doing this. So to do this would be basically coming out of your pocket to do those primary roads. We're doing it in Whiteford. I live in Whiteford Township. We've been doing it now. This might be year 3 for them, and it has cut down things drastically as far as complaints, sight distances, intersections, those type of things, and has seemed to work out very well. Having discussions with Al and with Chase, this kind of seemed to be the direction to kind of go to present to you guys and see if that's an option to throw at to help offset these issues, basically.
What are some of the primary roads?
So primary roads, and I've actually got a map that you guys can have. That's what we live with. So if you look at the Monroe County map, and basically anything that's listed in there as a red road is a primary road. Anything that's a black road or a white and black road, which would denote a dirt road. So if you take basically, call Temperance Road, everything south, for the most part, are primary roads. So that's really is the county's responsibility. You're getting that spring half mow and the full mow in the fall. And there's other ones. And then if you take and go north, and then pretty much everything east of Lewis, all the surrounding areas all the way up to Rauch, those are more of your local roads. And there's some that are here and there. I have no idea why those are all in different areas of where it is. I'm sure busyness and so on. But that's kind of the difference of what we do. So the primaries are basically take Temperance Road all the way down to the state line, and then everything north and even a little bit west. Summerfield's a primary, but like there's a little section of Temperance, but most everything north, Douglas and Rauch and all your east-west roads are all your locals, and then anything from Lewis east over to Erie Township are all local roads.
So we're hitting the local roads very well.
Correct.
And the primary roads get less mowing.
That's what, well, we added that, right? We added the local, that summer
The last time I think
of
we
a
were
couple
here.
years ago,
Exactly.
right? That we just
and that's
added
what
that.
I think has stemmed off a lot
And
of
then
those.
this is just, instead of, we added that, hit that summer mow, which cut down on complaints a lot.
Yep.
This is adding all the primaries as well,
Correct.
so that all of the roads in the township, okay.
Correct.
And so it's more of the heavy population centers when people are turning out of their, subdivisions and the ditches are grown up.
Correct.
There's a lot of areas on primary roads that we get calls about this.
And this is everything that's in the ditch. And the county actually had gotten a mower, I think, a few years ago. So they're actually out trying to help trim like tree limbs, things that are growing on the backside of the ditches that are coming over. They're making leaps and bounds now in the last 2 or 3 years, taking care of that, which is what we don't do. I mean, we can. That's not part of ditch mowing per se, because we're mowing in the ditches, but it's really what's coming back. So they're making good strides on that, but it's still, phragmites are a big issue. In this growing seasons, things are changing, starting earlier, going later. Well, not this year with snow here, but that's kind of where we're trying to aim to minimize some of those calls and complaints that are coming through, and obviously taking care of some more safety issues out there.
I can tell you this by what we've done in the past, we don't get the calls that we used to get in terms from people.
And it's helped. And Whiteford's our closest and prime example. And I think, I would say there was less than probably 4 or 5 calls the whole year for that matter. So it's like, well, that's obviously a big improvement that we're trying to strive to have none, but I'm sure something will always creep up somewhere.
I don't know if I'm reading this correct, Al. This will come out of next year's budget, not this year's budget, or?
Yeah, we can do it for next year's budget. And also keep in mind, we do get some money from the road commission every year. So we could take part of our allocation if we wanted to and use that as well for this. Any other questions? Or?
I'm in favor.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We'll make a motion to approve the precision irrigation contract for mowing in the amount of $3,900 to add the mid-July mow on primary roads. Funds coming out of account 101-450-866.0001 as presented.
Support.
Any further discussion?
Question.
Sperger?
Are we approving this regular contract at the same time?
Is that the county's?
That was just an example
That's
to
just an
show
example?
what we currently
Okay.
have.
Wanted to make sure. Like, wait a
It's
minute.
only the
What-
$3,900.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we'll be back for that. Okay. See no further discussion, please take the roll.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hertzberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Good. H, approve the 2026 Bedford Township Board meeting schedule.
So we went through. There are no Fridays or anything that are going to pop up. We will have to cancel, though, the August 4th and the November 3rd Township Board meetings because those are election days. If the board would like, we can cancel those and just approve 2 sets of vouchers the following board meeting, which have the stars and the double stars.
Which is pretty much what we did this past election, correct?
Correct.
Need a motion, or was that a motion there, Trudy?
So we're sure nothing's going to end up, we're going to end up taking off Thursdays, Fridays.
We went through the whole calendar.
She left. Well, I wanted her to be happy.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 Bedford Township Board meeting schedule with the cancellation of the August 4th and the November 3rd board meetings due to elections.
Support.
We have support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Hertzberger votes aye. Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Mr. Montroy?
Aye.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. 7I, ethics complaint. Phil, would you like to start us off on this?
Sure. So we're all aware that a complaint was made. Some of the people in attendance tonight spoke on it, and I'm glad they did because their voice needs to be heard. And I listened intently. I'm sure everybody else listened intently. The way I have to view this as Township Legal Counsel is I look at it through a legal lens, the same as the Michigan Townships Association does. And so I did not participate in this investigation. The policy makes it the obligation of the supervisor, or if the supervisor is the subject of a complaint, then it passes that obligation on to the clerk. So the supervisor is the one who conducted this investigation. He didn't do it in a vacuum. He went back and looked at the meeting videos, that some of which were the subject of the investigation. He went back and looked at the transcripts. He consulted with the Michigan Townships Association to get advice, legal advice, and general advice. And after he completed his investigation, he submitted to me the results of that investigation. I read it, I reread it, and like I say, I looked at this through a legal lens. And I approved what he had written, and as did the Michigan Townships Association. And so now that was his conclusion based on what he investigated. And what he investigated, again, was the transcripts, the videos of what occurred. He made a recommendation. Tonight the board will review that recommendation and will make a decision. And as far as the township's concerned, that will be the end of it. An investigation has been done. He's required to do it. He did it. He chose how to do it. And I think he was very thorough in how he did it because he just didn't look at the complaint and try to recall from memory what was done or what was said, but went back and looked at the evidence that was created by the public record. So that's what we have in front of us. And now the board takes action. So people look at things differently. People make conclusions on what statements are made. This board, individually or collectively, may or may not agree with the statements made by Mr. Bruning. Whether or not they agree with statements made by Mr. Bruning, and I'll focus in on his Facebook comments, and it was acknowledged by one of the speakers tonight, and I appreciate her the delivery, and I always appreciate what she has to say. I know she says it very thoughtfully, but she was right. We're dealing with the First Amendment, and what he does on his own time, whether I like it or whether these board members like it, he has protection afforded by the First Amendment to the Constitution, just as you do, just as I do, just as everybody does. Personally, and I think I've worked with these people for a long time, we try to live by the rule that be tolerant of other people's views. Be tolerant of other people, how other people choose to live their lives. Be tolerant of that. One person may be conservative, one person may be liberal, and a whole bunch are in the middle. But be tolerant of everybody's views and how they choose to live their lives. And there are going to be people on each side of the issue who are going to say things that are hurtful to the other side. We live in that world. Do we have to like it? No, we don't have to like it. But that's the world we're living in. Should we try to change it? Of course we should try to change it. But we need to recognize that people have different views. So and I'll focus in on, and you'll disagree, some of the folks that have spoken, and I respect your views, you'll disagree with what I'm about to say, but do I wish that Todd would have made the comments about militia? Do I wish that he wouldn't have made them? Of course, I wish he wouldn't have made them. But I never interpreted that as being a threat. I never interpreted that as him advocating violence against the people who gathered at the township. And I will tell you this, when you made the request to gather and have your meeting here and to protest and make your views made known on No King's Day, that was great. I was asked as the township attorney, can they do that? There's cases that would suggest or that say that we could have refused. We could have said, no, we're not going to open that up to a public forum. I was asked, and I said, you should consider allowing these folks to gather here and to express their views. And they did. And the next thing I did, because I wanted it to be peaceful. I've been doing this for 41 years. Before that, I was a law enforcement officer for 7 years. I have a personal relationship with the sheriff. I called him and I said there's going to be what I hope to be a peaceful demonstration. I want to make sure it is peaceful. Do you have a couple of officers to spare? Because I want this to be peaceful and I don't want some group coming in that might have a different perspective on this and causing trouble. It was a peaceful demonstration. You don't know this, but I drove by several times because I care about this community. And I wanted to make it peaceful, and I could dial one number and have the police there if it wasn't. So you don't know everything about everybody that sits up here. That's what I'm trying to say. You just don't. Today, as an example, Trudy, Krista, and Al and I spent 7 hours nonstop, didn't take a lunch break because we had an issue of importance to the township, and we worked through that until we got it resolved, or we believe we have it resolved. It'll have to be acted upon publicly. Don't think we're violating the Open Meetings Act, because we weren't, because it will come, it's negotiations, and it will be made public. But that's the kind of people that you have working for you. And this is not the first time we had a session like this. It was collective bargaining. And so, for the betterment of this township and the protection of this township. So this board works for the residents, the people that put him into office. Don't ever think that they don't, because they do, and they work hard and they take all those things to heart. And I can say that because I worked with them in different boards, many years. Worked with Lamar, if he's still here, many years. We have a friendship and a professional relationship that goes way back. So anyhow, I guess I'm digressing. But the point I'm trying to make is that we may not agree with what everybody on this board says. And we're dealing with elected officials. And you may not be happy with the investigation that was conducted by our supervisor. I read it and reread it, and I looked at it through a legal lens, and I approved it. And so did the Michigan Townships Association. So now the board will have to take action on that. Whether the board decides to censure Mr. Bruning, as has been requested, is up to the board. The recommendation by the supervisor based on an investigation is that he has asked Mr. Bruning to censure himself. What I would hope, and at least what I've seen publicly, I don't do Facebook. I just don't, and I never will. So you can say whatever you want about me, I'll never know it. And really don't care, because I try to do the best job possible for this township in all circumstances, and I know they do too. So I'll stop my heartfelt expression here and let the board do its work.
In terms of my report, and I looked at it, and I had to look at it from all different angles. And you're right, Phil, when people say they really don't know us totally, because you don't know our families. You don't know who's in our families. You don't know if we have trans people in our families. You don't know if we have gay people in our family. You don't know if I'm related to a Jewish person. And you don't know if I have black cousins. Okay? So when I take a look at the report and what Todd was saying, I had to take a look and say, okay, I wasn't given a Hitler. You provided the thing that just said slavery, and it's in the report in terms of that. So I had to look at that and say, okay, it didn't mention a certain race. Okay? So I had to take a look at a lot of different things. Okay? And it's not easy, because when you look at our policy, which I will tell you is not very consistent. It's the same way in terms of censuring. All right? It's not a good ethical policy. And especially when we take a look at ethics, usually you need to take a few classes in it, because we have the moral side, we have the religious side. Okay? We have the individual side. What one person thinks is right, another person thinks is wrong, but it may not be against the law. Okay? That's why, and Chase, my deputy, helped me. We reread our policy numerous times, talked to people. I could not go look at his other Facebook stuff, because that was not what was in front of me. What was in front of me is what you presented me. Okay? And I listened to that meeting, and I listened to that meeting. All right? And I looked at the stuff. Would I do it? Probably not. Would a lot of us do it? Probably not. But 10,000 people voted for him that said, you know what? We don't have a problem with him. So when you take a look at that, he's been voted in twice. You know, so, and Todd has First Amendment rights. Okay? And when it comes to role models, I'm sorry. Role models are all across the board these days. Okay? I'm not going to look at the Wheaties box anymore and say that's the only role model, because we do have various role models. So yes, I do know what role models are. No, excuse me, this is my time. This is my time. So that's when I took a look at it and saying, what is a role model? When you're elected, the people elect their role models. And if they like Todd for a role model, they're going to vote for him. They like Joe because he's an ex-police officer. He was a role model. Okay? Josh is a role model, probably to younger people who want to get into government. So I had to take a look at those items. I talked to Phil more than once on this after he read the report. So that's what I had to come up with. And in terms of penalizing Todd, read the sections, okay? The school board censured him. I didn't see the governor coming down and removing him from office. Okay? And it's the same way, too. I looked at the law. Can a governor remove a trustee? You can. But it's very difficult. And there's a strict criteria doing that. He didn't really meet any of them because he put some posts out there on Facebook. All right? Josh says, yeah, we should be a higher standard, that we work for the township 24/7. Okay? That in terms, yes, we do, but that doesn't mean I give up all my rights because you're elected. So that's what went into this report. I am not the judge and the jury on this report. I have to, Trudy, maybe I'm wrong. Have we ever even had an ethics complaint filed before like this? So overall with the report, like I said, it goes back. Todd was voted in. We are not here to be his jury. Every one of these people are elected. The township supervisor, if you read the statutory duties, I do not supervise any one of these people. Trudy runs the clerk's department, she runs the treasurer's department, and all four of them are independently elected. And all have an individual vote on what they want to do. So, other forms of government, yeah, the mayor probably can oversee the police chief and other things and so on. Townships are a little bit different. So that was what I did on this report. Believe me, this isn't something I want to do. I'd rather go work on something else than something like this, believe it or not. So that's what I have to say. I put a lot of time into this. And, I tried to take a look at what are examples that would relate to the report. Okay, so one, that the public could understand it. And that's what I did. Okay, one example in there is when he wore the Gulf of America shirt. Well, the President of the United States declared an executive order. He called that the Gulf of America. Perfectly legal. We all could wear that shirt. So that's what I have. Like I said, I did my homework. Any other discussions, thoughts?
Everybody's offended about everything now. Every day. Doesn't matter. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll speak up. Everybody's offended every day now about something. Everybody. Something offends somebody. Nonstop. What I find offensive, you might not find offensive. What you find offensive, I might not find offensive. I find it offensive when people are, yelling in the face of our ICE agents and throwing bottles at them. I find it offensive when people are laying in front of the roads, blocking people from getting to and from work and things like that, important stuff. That's offensive to me, but it is what it is. People say a lot of things. I've been called so many names in my career and throughout my life and whatnot. Phil knows. Sit in a patrol car at 2 o'clock in the morning with a drunk in the back of you, and you want to hear some names. Oh, my God, you guys think offense. Wow. You'd be surprised what we hear, right? I mean, I don't even know what I can say anymore. I don't even know if I can say, hey, I like your haircut, or hey, this or that. Wow, I'm going to HR. I mean, I don't even know what I can do anymore. Todd's my friend. We've known each other a long time. Do I agree with some of the stuff he says? No. But he can say what he wants. And he didn't even let him go.
Guys, this is old news. I told you this at the last meeting. Channel 13 came out to my shop and did a story on this. This is my personal Facebook page that you guys are going to. So you're going to see what I post. That's on you, not on me, because I'm going to post whatever I want. If you don't like it, I really don't care. Now, if I was putting Bedford Township trustee Todd Christopher Bruning, that would be one thing, but I'm not. It's Todd Christopher Bruning. You're going to my page. That's on you. It's like, look, you guys are irrelevant. We already know we are not going to make 100% of people happy. We need to make the majority of people happy. You're not the majority. You have people from Dundee, now Adrian and everyone else. You're not the majority in Bedford. This whole board is conservative. We're elected by conservatives. You guys are liberals. It is what it is. No matter what we do, you're going to get offended. It is what it is.
A few questions for Phil. Censoring somebody, is it a one and done? Is it something that happens multiple times over the course of a 4-year term? How does that work? Maybe you don't know. I maybe shouldn't have put you on the spot. I should have asked that beforehand to give you some preparation there. But is it just rip off the Band-Aid, he's censored for 4 years moving forward, or is it something that can happen? Oh, hey, something else happened again. We're going to do this process.
Every meeting.
It could happen multiple.
Means nothing.
It could happen multiple times. If somebody, a member of this board, violated the policy, and this board found it to be a violation and decided that that board member should be censored, they could do it this week. If an event occurred 2 months from now, you could censure that same individual 2 months from now. So it's a censure based upon the behavior of the, in this case, the board member. So is it limited to one time and one time only? No. It's each event would have to be measured on its merits. You would have to make a determination that there was, after investigation conducted by the supervisor, whether there was a violation of the policy and whether that violation rose to the level that this board thought that board member should be publicly censured. So it can happen more than once. It's not just one and it's done. It can happen multiple times depending on the conduct.
So that was my next question, which you addressed, is that not all violations of the policy necessarily meet the limit of formal public censure.
That's a decision. Yeah, that's a decision that the board would have to make. My prayer, my hope is that we all learn from this. My prayer, my hope is that Todd, and I like Todd, and I get along with Todd, and I know he works hard. I've had discussions with every one of you, and I've disagreed, and I've told you I've disagreed from a legal basis, and you know that. And you either accept that advice or you reject that advice. I had those discussions with every one of you. So the point that I'm trying to make is that my hope and my prayer for the board and for the community is that we are able to have peaceful discourse. If you would disagree, state what your disagreement is and the basis for your disagreement. But I would hope that we can learn from that. In my heart of hearts, I know that Todd didn't threaten anybody by the comments he made. Could some people interpret that as a threat? I suppose so. I suppose they could, because they draw from life experiences. They draw from other things that have happened, maybe in their lives or the lives of others. But in my heart of heart, I don't think for 1 minute that he was threatening anyone. I know that he disagrees with some of the views that are expressed. I know that you disagree with some of the views he expresses. But my hope is that we can disagree and move on from this. So I don't know. It's the board has to determine the severity of the departure from the policy and whether that warrants censure.
Can we give him a censure punch card? Because give him like 6 to cover any future.
And oh, you mean pay in advance?
Yeah, pay in advance.
You know, a censure isn't a public expression by the board that you did something, we believe it violates the policy, we don't like it, and we're going to tell you so. And we want you to modify your behavior. That's what a censure is. Does it get him unelected? No. There's provisions in the policy that say you can be removed from a committee, or certain things can be taken from you. None of those things apply to him. The ultimate censure is the ballot box. That's the ultimate censure. If the people of this township don't like his behavior, then don't vote him in next time. And that's crass, and it's direct, and I mean no disrespect, but that's the ultimate censure.
I've said it myself, Phil. I said it on TV. I say it to everyone. If you don't like it, don't vote for me. It is what it is. Everyone knows pretty much where I stand on everything. If not, just ask, and I'm going to tell you.
So my advice to you is to contemplate and think before you publicly post things and try to do it in the least offensive way you can to get your point across. You know, your First Amendment rights are protected in Facebook. There are probably, and we're not here to debate this, there are probably circumstances where you could even cross the line there, and then the Facebook police come after you or whatever. That's what I've been told. I don't do Facebook or any other form of social media. So from that perspective, think about what you're saying. Josh said it. You know, you're a township trustee 24/7. You have your personal life, and on your own Facebook post, you can say what you want to say. But think about how it might impact others and how other people might think about it, and try to be tolerant of other people's views. And other people need to be tolerant of your views. Go ahead, Josh. I'm talking.
No, I'm listening. I appreciate it. So, I guess where I'm looking at this from is they could come and complain about every Facebook post that he makes, and we would have to file an investigation, and then come and we could formally censure every Facebook post. Like, I don't want to get in the business of. That's why I think it's like whatever he says on Facebook, he says on Facebook. I don't condone it whatsoever. Probably all of it. I don't know. I don't pay attention to anything he says on Facebook. And that's not true, not everything. And on his personal page that he's posting, I don't see all of that stuff. But what I'm getting at is what he says on Facebook, he says on Facebook. He has the right to do that. I don't want to get in the business of nitpicking every single post that he has and literally formally censoring every post.
We're not going to do that.
We're
not going to do that, or at least that would be my advice to you. What's stated on Facebook and under the umbrella of the protection of First Amendment rights, we're not going to revisit that. That's why I'm saying sincerely to him, think before you speak. And I don't mean to preach to you like I would a child or one of the 3 kids that my wife and I raised and that we're proud of, but think before you speak. Think how that will affect someone else or how they may perceive it. That's all.
Now, would it be fair to say that if something happens at a board meeting, if you were to say something or whatever, that's maybe a different issue as opposed to him saying something on Facebook? Like moving forward, he may say something that crosses the line at a board member or the public or whatever. That's maybe a different situation.
That would be a different situation, and one of the portions of the complaint was the statements that he made before the No Kings rally about the militia. So I heard it that night, I looked at it, I've looked at it again, and it's because I know him that I didn't interpret that as a threat. But what I didn't want, and it didn't have anything to do with him, I wanted to provide them with a safe place to have their gathering, and that's why we did what we did behind the scenes. And it was to preserve and protect the peace and allow them to have their rally and conduct it in a peaceful manner. But personally, that never concerned me. I didn't take it as he was threatening anybody. But I draw upon my own life experiences. I draw upon my association with him professionally as a member of this board, and I didn't think for a minute that he was threatening anyone. But that's my perception. People obviously disagree with that. Some might agree, people disagree. So, but to answer your question directly, Josh, if something happens in the future that's inappropriate and would be a violation, it's deemed to be a violation, then you have the right and the obligation to come back and take action on it. But I'm hoping that we can all learn from this, and that's not going to happen.
So a lot of these Facebook posts should be reported to the Facebook police and let them decide. How many times you been in jail now?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's never. All this stuff I find, it's on Facebook. It's not like I make it. It's already on there. I just reshare it. But like I said, if you don't like it, stay off my page. I'm not posting it to yours. You're coming to my page to look for it. So it is what it is. Proceed to my page with caution.
Put that in a disclaimer on
Yep.
your page. Yeah, no, for me, I think the Facebook just is a totally separate situation. Again, I don't agree with any of the things that he said, the Hitler, whatever. That's, I condemn it, don't condone it, whatever phrase you want to use. Then there was a comment made with the, hey, send them down to my shop. I interpreted it the same way, and it's probably because of my relationship with Todd and my experiences with him, and I didn't think that was necessarily a threat. But can understand how someone else may perceive that differently. They don't know Todd. The other thing was he called some people nut jobs. That's absolutely inappropriate, but
that's inappropriate.
Light for Todd.
It's inappropriate.
He shouldn't call people nut jobs, but again, I've heard him call people worse.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think that warrants formal censure? If, again, I'm separating the Facebook page issue, and he called someone nut jobs, and some people took another thing as a threat that I didn't. I don't think it necessarily rises to the level of a formal censure. Now, moving forward, if things continue to persist and you look at a bigger picture of his actions at the board meetings, then maybe something can rise to that level. But I'm removing the Facebook page completely. He has every right to do that. I don't agree with a lot of the things that are on there, but that's where I'm coming from. And I don't know if anyone's going to make a motion or not. Do we need to make a motion? Can we put a pin in this and move on? And
I think you need to bring it to a conclusion. Your supervisor did what he was obligated to do pursuant to the policy. He investigated it. He reported to you. He made a recommendation. You can ask Todd if he's going to censure himself. That was the recommendation. If he's not, then I think you need to act on his investigation. Are you going to publicly censure him or not?
To me first?
To you first.
No, I'm not going to censure myself. I'm actually going to commend myself on doing such a fantastic job. I view liberals losing your mind. I'm living in your head rent-free. This is fantastic. Freaking live up, so just look forward to each meeting with you guys losing it. So no, I'm not going to censure myself.
No matter what action we take here, it's somebody's going to be mad, and we're going to hear about it regardless. I'm like you, Phil. I mean, people are going to roast me probably on social media. I don't care because I'm not on Unleashed. I'm not on. I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I don't have any of that. I have Facebook to keep in touch with my Marine Corps buddies from across the country. You know, and I love seeing pictures of family members and from friends that, you know, with their kids in sporting events. And I guess I'm old now because I enjoy seeing that. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. Somebody will come up, oh, did you hear what they're saying? Nope, don't care. Not reading it. I don't go looking for it.
Joe's son made Facebook.
Yeah.
So, you know, I try to be a peacemaker. I try to reason with people. I try to appeal to people to try to be tolerant of one another, and I'm not just saying this. That's me. I try to appeal to people to be tolerant of one another, to be tolerant of one another's views, their lifestyles. One thing I know is certain, and it's probably the only thing I know for absolute certain, is that God loves all of us despite our flaws, despite our viewpoints, despite our life choices. God loves all of us. So, and I don't mean to wax religious, but that's a fact that I hold true. And so we all should remember that and remember that if God can love that person, then so can I, and I should respect that person, and I should respect that person's views, and we should be able to disagree peacefully. So somebody needs to make a motion. You've got a recommendation of your supervisor. He recommended that Mr. Bruning censure himself. I think primarily, well, I'm not going to get into the minutia. Mr. Bruning has chosen not to do that publicly. He made a statement. So the board, I think, needs to act collectively on the recommendation of the supervisor.
I'll make a motion that we take no action and accept the investigation as submitted.
Support.
Any further discussion?
Oh, there will be here in a minute.
So we're just accepting this. Your recommendation was for Todd to censure himself. He's saying no.
Mm-hmm.
So the board is just accepting.
And part of the motion was to take no action.
What action could we take?
Not taking any.
The only action you could take would be contrary to your supervisor's recommendation is to publicly censure him. And so the motion was to accept the report and take no action.
Okay.
I think Mr. Stump has a...
No, I'm torn a little bit. We're making the investigation said Todd should censure himself.
Yeah.
He's not. But if the recommendation is for him to censure himself, that's implying that there was a violation. So then are we then saying that the violation didn't rise to the formal censure limit threshold? Is that what we're saying then by saying no? Or am I saying yes to not censure him? What was the motion?
The motion, I'll try to repeat it. The motion was to accept the supervisor's report and to take no action on the report. Did I state that accurately?
Yes, but there's no action to take in the report. I think that's your confusion, like mine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I stand corrected. Our recording secretary says that motion to take no action and accept investigation as presented.
Would it be better to rescind that and just say, just accept the report as submitted?
I don't know if it's better, but that's an option.
I'm fine with either way. Just want to make sure we're good legally.
Either way is fine. Either way is fine.
I think we should accept the report and the recommendation. Just accept it.
I'm fine with that, yep.
I mean, it's up to Todd to censure himself. We're accepting that this is a recommendation that was made based on the report.
Yep. I'm good with that.
I'm fine with that.
Sorry.
I've got my speaker on.
I'll move the mic up closer.
Did you get the new motion?
The recommendation.
Okay. An investigation as presented.
So that's is that a friendly amendment to the motion that was previously made, Trudy?
I'm fine with that.
Yes.
And did we have a second?
I seconded it.
And is the person who seconded that motion
To accept the
friendly amendment?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
All right. So now you can have discussion and then take a roll call vote.
Any further discussion?
No. Move that up closer. Is that better?
Did that answer your question, Josh?
Yeah, you and I were on the same page.
I'll check that.
Okay.
See no further discussion, please take the roll, Ms. Hirschberger.
Mr. Gore?
Aye.
Mr. Bruning?
Aye.
Mr. Montry?
Aye.
Mr. Stump?
Aye.
Ms. Janasek?
Aye.
Hirschberger votes aye. Mr. Pryor?
Aye, motion carries. Comments from the public? Comments limited to 2 minutes for each individual.
My annual December program. And that would be, I don't know if I'll be at the next meeting or not. We're coming up on Christmas. And going to have our military men and women in outposts all over the world. Some of them the first time away from home. Joe, you remember your first one. Todd?
December 9th.
I remember mine. Sitting on a little island off the coast of Korea in the Yellow Sea. Remember those people and take a minute to think about them, what they're doing. They're giving their time, their energy, their resources, their lives, so that we can have this meeting like this tonight. It was cold. Joe was hot. Others were in the, my brothers were in Vietnam. So those who are serving deserve our thoughts at Christmas time. And so please remember them. Thank you.
Hello, Pamela Hess. I would love to say that I'm surprised by the results, but I am not. I actually had a lot of kind words to say about this board before all of that, and I don't know if I want to go into that anymore. Phil said that these members, I think it was Phil or maybe Greg, said that this board represents every single member of this community, and I want to remind you, every single member of this community you guys represent, whether we're conservative or liberal or progressive. You represent us. And yes, he was democratically elected by 10,000 people. But a recall campaign is also a democratic process. We are participating in a democratic process right here by voicing our displeasure with Todd. I appreciate you listening to us and listening to us intently, Phil. That means a lot because I don't know what to say up here anymore to get you guys to listen to us. We understand that he hasn't broken any laws and his Facebook is his Facebook. But what can we do when he is so harmful to communities we belong to? The words that he says, the things that he posts, the insults that he throws at us. And I know you don't think they're threats, but we thought they were threats. What do we do to get these addressed? I am so curious. I mean, I have one idea, and it's the only idea that we haven't fully taken yet. And it's clear that's the option that we need to take now. I'm at a total loss. I would love that answer to be answered because in the administrative policies manual, it says, here's what we can do to complain, but yet the policy manual is nonsensical, but yet in the policy manual, it lists things that can be done. Thank you. You know me. Okay. I refuse to believe that this board represents the best of Bedford Township. Words to describe this board: dysfunctional, ineffective, inefficient, embarrassing. Those words are not my words. Those are actually the words of Mr. Stump, who spoke them not too long ago as a concerned citizen himself. The membership of this board has changed slightly, but the culture of ignoring rules and potentially laws has not. There may be fewer dramatic arguments at meetings, but that's not because concerns have disappeared. I have been here since the summer trying to do what Mr. Frederick and Ms. Keene have long done, look out for the best interests of Bedford. Yet this board does not take feedback, it gets defensive. When Ms. Keene raised a legitimate concern about tree removal at the last meeting, the board dismissed it outright without so much as an assurance that they would even look into it. At the last meeting, Mr. Pryor acknowledged that violations can occur, but because he does not view them as ethical dilemmas, he dismissed the concerns and then complained that the board isn't receiving more praise. The violations he referenced are not simple procedural mistakes. They are potential violations of law. Whether Mr. Pryor personally considers them ethical or not is irrelevant. We have 2 minutes, and this board's potential legal violations leave no time for praise. We have tried to alert this board to the laws we believe you may be violating so you could correct the problems before they cause further damage. We have tried to spare this board from the consequences of its own actions and to protect taxpayers from legal costs that may follow. In return, we have been ignored and insulted. Instead of taking accountability, Mr. Pryor just gaslights us. To try to obtain some measure of accountability, Michigan Campaign Finance Act complaints have been filed against Mr. Stump, Mr. Montry, Mr. Gore, Mr. Bruning, and Mr. Pryor. The Board of Elections can take it from here.
Gail Kane, oh my. Well, you guys may not represent the best, but you represent the majority. And to that note, my concern is that on number 6, we should have a list of unfinished business, because you do have a list, and you need to start taking care of it. Number 2, if the postage machine did come out of CIP, we need to see that CIP sheet, because planning didn't have a ruling on this. This is one of these other ditties that got yanked off that list so that it could be handled. Number 3, it would really be nice, considering that we have 2 fire millages coming up for renewal, that our fire chief give us, the public, a report at least once a month, just like the police do. Fourthly, the Adopt a Road thanks you for getting that job done for mowing. Yeah, we got to pay for it. I did speak with him. It is not good to have Phragmites mowed. It fights back. I was happy to learn through a FOIA, because that's what it took to get full disclosure, that the oak wilt was not the issue. My FOIA resulted in getting a report back from the arbor person, the arborist. And lastly, but not leastly, the Nazis just didn't kill Jews. They also killed the Catholics and the Irish and the Chinese and the American Indians. You have Israel with their attacks in Palestine and all these other things. And we're all different. We all have our opinion. I have my soapbox, just like Charlie Kirk. Will I get a day? Nope, ain't gonna happen. That's okay. I don't have to be put on a pedestal. I don't have to be respected. All I have to be is heard. And so that's what I'm doing, is coming up here and giving my voice. Thank you for your job.
Tonight, you confirmed that your board's policies and code of ethics are superficial paper, only literally copied and pasted from the Michigan Township Association, serving cosmetic purposes rather than guiding authentic good governance. No one on this board could even muster a motion tonight to call for a vote to consider censuring Todd. You actually, of course, have by doing that gone on the record as sanctioning instead of censuring his abuse, intimidation, and threats towards us. You couldn't even address what happened right here in this meeting. All of you heard him call us nut jobs, saw him gesture and insult and intimidate us, and none of you said anything then or have said anything now, and even in your consideration to censure him. I don't get it. His Facebook stuff was brought here as evidence to consider why we might think he was threatening, intimidating violence. And it's not just his posts. I mean, he inserts himself into the community members' posts threatening. And I don't know. I also wonder, how much you consider what kind of a liability he is. How much does he open this community up for suits? I think about the family that is suing the school board for in the rape case. Could the township be included in that because of the things that Mr. Bruning has said? He's a liability, and I don't know what else to say. Thanks.
So first of all, thank you for actually conducting an ethics investigation, regardless of how toothless it really was. You did it, so good job. But during this whole meeting, I'm glad we finally acknowledged that Todd made his militia comments, because for the longest time, you guys completely ignored them and refused to address them. Now that we know he did make the militia comments, there's one thing that I'm curious about. You guys went to legal to make sure, I guess, that Todd didn't do anything illegal and to cover your butts. Todd has shown, in legal terms, Mr. Goldsmith, a pattern and practice of organizing and participating and calling militia members. Did it during the 2020 protests. On video. Like you said, W2LO came to his shop, interviewed him. So just for reference, Michigan Penal Code 750-215, false representation as a peace officer or medical examiner. This is a felony. Any individual who is not a peace officer or a medical examiner shall not do any of the following. A, perform the duties of a peace officer or medical examiner. That is literally what happened in 2020. And if you are not interpreting what he said as a threat, that is still a call to action to participate in that exact duty. So, ignoring the fact that participating in militia is a felony in Michigan, that could also be considered a felony. So, I'm very curious to see what you referenced in your MTA discussions, and I will be FOIAing as much as I can. So, looking forward to it.
Any further discussion? Mr. Stump? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Greg. Didn't see you coming up.
In conclusion, okay, my name's Greg Skyver, by the way, and I did mention it that I am a Christian. I also found it rather discouraging from a Christian viewpoint.
Greg, you got to address us.
Pardon?
You got to look at us.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, when we can turn around, and while we were here, during this discussion alone, we talked about people are different. They do this, they do that. And that is fine. Not everybody has to be a Christian. Okay, not everybody has to be a liberal or this or that. Just like our Phil has said many things, I think it was right on the money about learning to get along with other people. Yet we have a man on the board that it was pointed out directly about how he feels. I don't understand it all. I don't know what church he goes to. I don't know what belief he is. But to turn around and single people out and just hammer them is not a good idea. It isn't very Christ-like, number one. And whether you know the Lord or not, it's still not a good thing to do. Okay? To single people out and go directly after them on a regular basis. It's actually pitiful. And like I said, that's why I find it hard to even come into a meeting here at times knowing that this is going to go on. And I've been in this community for about 50 years now. And it's amazing. I've seen people elected here. Okay, I've seen people leave. Whatever. They're a great board. They do try to do the best that they can. And yet to try and find one fault kind of reminds me of the story of a dog.
Thanks.
Okay, he's a great dog until he
Craig,
craps
that-
in the house.
Time's up. Well,
And that's it after that.
thanks.
Take care.
Any other comments? Any other comments? Going once, going twice. Mr. Stump?
I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it. I do not condone anything on Todd's Facebook, point blank, period. Not going to address it again. Someone said something about what I may have said. It sounded like something I might have said, but not about this board. It might have been the previous board where there was a lack of communication and very divisive and petty and personal and all of these things. Yeah, I said that. Standing on it. That's what I saw the last 4 years. That's why I decided to run. I wanted to bring back some civil discourse and respect and professionality to the board, and not to my credit whatsoever. I think that this board has done a lot, and I think communication is at an all-time high. I've had no issues dealing with any of you. If I text you or call you, you guys always respond, and we have great conversations. And I think that we're doing a lot of great things for the community. Now, there are distractions that come up and that we have to address, but I think we need to continue moving forward and doing what we can for the community. That's what we got elected to do. And when it comes down to it, I'm a First Amendment absolutist. You have every right to say what you want to say. I can't tell you to stop it, and you guys have every right to come up here and disagree respectfully, and that's all I have to say about it. Other than that, I wish I could say go blue, but we got
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Had to bring it up, didn't
I did. We got to address the elephant in the room. Not Todd.
Yep.
We did that too.
Everyone have a good night, good weekend. And again, if you don't want to get offended, stay off my Facebook page. If you want to get offended and complain, go on my Facebook page. Don't know what I'm going to post. Maybe I'll dig up some of my own memes that got me in trouble. See if I can get those going. But it is what it is, guys. Have a good one.
Joe?
Josh, I agree with you as far as what you said about the previous board. There was a lot of discontent. There was a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of disagreements, and but we're well beyond that. This board is running much better. There's no question about it. The meetings are running much better, and we get a lot of stuff done. I mean, contrary to what people think, we do conduct a lot of business. Tonight alone, you know, we're fixing playground equipment, we're getting grass cut, we're making repairs to buildings and to fire stations and to libraries. You know, we're getting crack sealing done. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. That we get past the first half hour of the meeting, we get business done. And I don't see anybody, not really, I can't see anybody coming up and complaining that we spent $12,000 to fix the swings at our parks, and especially our inclusive swings that needed repaired, so all the children can enjoy them. So that, I'm grateful for this board. We get a lot of work done. We have a lot of good discussion. I get outvoted sometimes, and sometimes I don't, and I'm fine. And we all are fine with, you know, how that works out. Moving forward, folks, it's going to be cold this next week. Watch out for your pets, please. If you got outside pets, bring them indoors. It's going to get real cold by the end of this week. Just be careful with that. And everybody, if you're out there when it snows, please drive safely. Allow extra room. Phil knows biggest reason for crashes we get is fail to stop in a sure clear distance. People running into the back of each other. Get, you know, just a PSA for people, just to give yourself some additional space. Worries me every day. I got a brand new driver, drives to school every day, and I tell him every morning, brake early, go slower. You know, the roads are slick. So we just want to be safe out there. And for that, we'll see everybody next meeting.
Craig?
Nothing for me.
Tax bills were mailed out December 1st.
Yeah, I got mine.
Sorry. If you did not receive your bill, you can call my office and we'll send you a copy. You can either pay them here at the Township Hall, either through the drive-through window, the drop slot, or in the office. Obviously, you can mail them in. We have Fifth Third Bank in Lambertville. They accept payments for residents, as well as First Merchants in Temperance. Everyone have a good evening and a great weekend.
Ms. Hirschberger.
I didn't have anything, but then Gail asked a question that I could answer, and she's gone.
She's in the hallway.
Oh, is she in the hallway? She said the postage meter was coming out of the CIP, but it's not. It's actually coming out of the capital asset revolving fund, so I was going to let her know. That's all I had.
Okay. First of all, we did a lot of research on that tree, didn't we, Chase? To make sure, and it stayed in Michigan. So we made sure that we were all good with that. I'd also like to say we have an opening on the Planning Commission. If anybody would like to apply for that, just go to our website, fill out the application. Also, too, if you have interest in other boards or whatever, fill out the application, and we take a look at it. I've got some exciting news. We're getting kind of down to the final stages of our Veterans Memorial for the corner of the building. So hopefully I'll be able to show you some renderings and things and get your approval what we want to do. We spent a lot of time on it. It's looking pretty good. On December 13th, we will be doing Blizzard Fest again. And yes, it is at Compelled Church. It's an all-free event. Kids come. Nobody has to pay for anything, period. They get carriage rides. They get all kinds of stuff. So every kid gets treated special in terms of what they get. So I'm proud of that event. Make no bones about it. When we can do something like that for the community, it's a good thing. Can we all do better? Yeah, we can do better. Okay? I have talks with people all the time. Hey, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? What can we make better? So, yes. And just to all let you know, these sometimes are tough decisions. Okay? And we're not always going to agree. And I have to take a look at things sometimes. We all do. Might not agree with something, but sometimes it's like, okay, what's the decision going to be? Just like Joe said, we're not always going to agree on everything for the community, okay? But in the end, it is about the community and about what we do and about what we're doing in the parks and things of that nature. So that's all I have to say. And again, if you're interested in planning a spot, send in your application.
To adjourn.
Phil, got anything?
Not a darn thing. I've already said too much.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. You're our secret elves.
In the back.